Okay, so another weird channel change happened this morning. I went to bed watching again, like I told you, channel 11, right? So now it's on channel 15, right? In the bedroom, right? Right. Now the remote was between those two books right there, so I don't think I rolled over either. But it looks like someone's messing with the TV again. Like I said, I didn't record FBI last night, and it was recorded last night before I got home, right? And see, when I left, I didn't even think about it, right? When I would get home, right? But for some reason, it was recording when I got home. Right? That's something messing with me hard, right? I'm not messing with them, they're messing with me somehow, right? I basically either do something, and when I do it, I do it with breaks in between, right? Still. And I still feel kind of sore this morning, but a little bit later I'll go for a walk or something, right? At least the walk, right? I ain't really been able to exercise too much either because I'm out more. Sometimes doing other things. Through doctor's appointments or stuff like that, right? Yep. So anyway, I'm up again, right? Whatever that means to y'all, right? Back in the saddle again, right? And woke up the same place I went to sleep with it on a different channel. Right. Came on the scene of Bethlehem. So this is someone named Les Feldick, right?
He never, in fact, we had quite a discussion on that in one of our classes the other night. And for those of you on television, you don't know what you're missing, because in the classes, you see people just open up and they just pop questions one right after the other. And the last couple have really been even exciting for me. I mean, they ask so many questions, you just can't hardly hit them fast enough. But a lot of the questions will come up with regard to some of these things. Well, how and when?
Now, the problem is, I think some Christians become biased, right? As did some Hebrew believers, right? And the biasness has to do with their own image as the image of God, right? And that's where man gets bogged down. You're not the image of God, right? God's the spirit. It has no image, right? It's not imagery, right? And part of the problem is even Jesus is just either all three forms of, or one of three forms, right? Right. Two still, right? Now, the two that came from him also spoke with him, remember? Right. But they thought it was Moses and Elisha, right? Who did? Peter, James, and John, and mainly Peter. See, they're men too, that right? They didn't ask him that, like they knew. Same as Adam did with the trees in Eden, which one he wasn't supposed to eat of, but they both ate of it per chance, right? See, a problem with chance, right, is if you got 25 different type of fruit trees in a garden, right, and they were all in Eden. Now, the guy who looked into this is a guy named Grant Jeffries, who did the Bible Code as well, and he found encoded in the story of Genesis, right, and all that, right. Also, every type of tree, right, that's known as a fruit tree to mankind, right. In one of his books, he mentioned that, right. Now, I can't read the whole thing to you, right? But if it's a truth, Jeffrey, then men can't deal with it, right? Not God, not God. And why can't we, right? Satan's making us all sinners, right? All have sinned, right? So that's the problem. You think, oh, I know a little bit about Jesus now, right? Then you stop. As soon as you hear he's a man, right, and God, right, you stop, right? Being man and God ain't the same to God as it is to a man, right? Who only sees himself and the woman, right? You don't even know what an angel really looks like except through a few prophets. And they're described as with different types of faces, including some that have 4 types of faces, right? On one body. I don't know. Well, if you have 4 faces and they kind of are north, east, south, and west, right? You can see basically in all directions too, huh? Right? And then one has a circle within a circle, or a wheel within a wheel, right? And Elijah saw at least a cartwheel. You know, I don't mean a cartwheel is in gymnastics. I mean a cartwheel. And he saw wheels within wheels, right? 2 at least, right? I know. Right. And the wheels had eyes all throughout it, right? That again indicates it can see in all directions, probably, right? And if it's the complete circle of the wheel, right, with all the eyes, right, it would be kind of weird looking to us, right? Unless it's some mode of travel, which that's why they came up with rockets, right? And even nuclear warheads, which are like what happens with the sun. There's some kind of nuclear fuel dispensary, right? But wonderfully created by our maker, right? That's why scientists can only look at it and try to understand it, but still fall short of what it really is or how it's really working. That's why they get paranoid. One day it'll stop working, right? Because it started working at one point, right? See, if something starts, you figure, well, it must come to an end, right? That's what Satan wants you to think, right? It's not true, I know. What God is having to deal with is our forgiveness and unforgiveness. In other words, when we condemn, right, we're condemning ourselves, right? When we forgive, we're forgiving ourselves, right? That's the problem, right? When you love, you're only loving, right? When you love and hate, you're doing both. You're doing both, right? And when you just hate, well, you know you're going to death, right? Why do we go to death? Because he died first, right? Something died first, right? To cause our death, right? His name is Halal. It's Alal, however you would say it. Heyll. Lol, almost, right? Or lol. I don't mean Lyle the crocodile, though that's fictional, right? And for entertainment purposes. Keep that in mind, right? That ain't the entertainment ain't your problem, right? But what is your problem is copyright and everything where no one can use the same material, right? And their words, right? Or their structured sentences, or anyone, you know, after Wild Crocodile. Because they Lyle Crocodile, because Lyle's a name, right? Right? But a man's name, a human's name, right? Who married Julia Roberts? What was his name again? Lyle. I know where you got it from. Wasn't one of her husbands named Lyle something or other? Yes. That's okay. I know where you got it from. Some of those names on one thing. That's the name of the crocodile, right? But I've seen it all. I've seen crocodiles and I've seen all kind of animals talk through technology, though. That's why you can't worship the image, right? It's imagery again. You can see the movie. You can watch the movie. You can pay to see the movie, but then come back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, right? You gotta come back to reality. Oops, there goes gravity. Nope, gravity's still here. That part's wrong. Mm-hmm. But you do gotta come back to reality. But there is still gravity. That's the actual line. It depends on unless you're falling, right? Mm-hmm. Or you think there'll be no gravity someday, but the Earth's kind of like a huge iron ball. And we got iron in our blood. I told you, fairies hate iron. They can't stay on the Earth, actually, right? Technically speaking. It's magnetic. It's a metal, right? And iron is one of those metals. Yeah, I know. See, that's what they don't understand when they make up these myths or something, right? I know. And it's the same planet, right? Right. I know. But that's the myth of the fairies, right? Whether a little person with wings exists or not, I don't know, right? I ain't saying that, right? I'm saying once we fell, at least to the flood, we know some animals went what? Extinct, right? We don't even know what they were or really looked like. We're guessing, right? For two, right? Even dinosaurs, they're not sure they look more reptilian or bird-like, right? That's why you see some velociraptors even with feathers, right? They're not sure. But if you create something in a class all by itself, right, too, insects are insects, but arachnids are arachnids, right? A scorpion and a spider are both arachnids. They have 4 limbs, right? Though the difference is the scorpion has also pinchers, so really it technically has 5 limbs, right? It's kind of like a crab, but a crab is also a water animal. You see, there's similarities in nature too, right? Then you got the crawdad. He's got claws, but little shrimp-like, but so do shrimp have little pinchers, right? And, once Satan died, right, his flesh would what? Decompose, right? Why do you think one of the misnomers or one of the things you might not can do is eat crustacean on the floor bed of the sea? They may have actually eaten the body of Satan after he died, right? Now, I also think he cut off his breast, because there's rumors about women cutting off their breast in the future, by the way, in Ezekiel. So something odd about that, right? And I think it also has to do with breast cancer, right? And cancer is cause something's wrong in the body and something's trying to grow something there that don't belong there, right? Right. It's some kind of mutation, right? But you don't become the Wolverine, right? You die from the mutation, right? Mm-hmm. And Pastor Prince is on again today, right? Part 2 of the healing power of a joyful heart, right? So, like I keep telling you, though, God's not our problem. The devil is, right? But the devil has us all sinning, right? Right. There's no man that does good. No, not one. No, not one. So the first thing we got to admit is, hey, I'm no good, I'm no good, I'm no good. You could treat me easily, right? I'm a man, right? I'm trying to find a woman, even though women are kind of bad too, right? But what do? Forgive the trespass, right? And the debt, and the debt. See, a trespass is different than a debt, right? Right, by the way, too, right? Trespass is when you do someone wrong, right? Whether knowledgeably, knowingly, or not, right? All right? That's still a trespass, right? But forgive our trespasses, he says later on, as we forgive those who trespass against us, right? So two parts of forgiveness is a debt, right? As in slavery, right? That slavery is called someone places a price and say, you owe me this much money for me taking care of you, right? And you gotta pay the debt back, right? With what? Right? See, debt only creates more debt, right? Why do you think we're trillions of dollars in debt, yet think we're making trillions of dollars, yet spending all the money we're making, right? When you spend everything you make, you're making nothing, right? And money itself is made, right? There's no such thing as money, computer chips to control the money, right? We make all that, right? Now, some say that's the mark of the beast, some say it's not, we don't know, right? It could be any mark where you're controlling buying and selling, right, is the mark of the beast. And if you kill people who do not receive it, that's the mark of the beast, period, right? You overcomplicate it, right? Whatever it is, they won't allow you to buy or sell without this special thing in your right hand or forehead, or maybe even right eyeball or left eyeball, I don't know, right? Or some say the top of the head where your third eye is, right? But that, it doesn't do nothing. You don't literally have a third eye. But actually you have two eyes, right? Two on your head and two in your head, right? And they're both sides, right? Right. There's one in each hemisphere, right? Helps you to see. One controls the right side, like I told you before, and the other controls the left. And what's odd is both, right, control the opposite side, right? See, I kind of see more non-binocularly, right, out the left and right eye. I see differently than y'all, right? Literally, right? But I still see, right? See, I should also have some kind of vision problem, which I do with one eye, but I had to adapt to it, right? So that's kind of the problem there, right? In part of, whatever's making the eye create mucus is an eye flap, right? Why do you get mucus in your nose? To fight off some kind of infection that makes it produce the mucus, right? Well, the eye naturally doesn't produce mucus at all, but Jesus talks of eye slaps. Right. Buy me eye slap, right? It's some kind of salve too, right? It's something to protect the eye when I wake up or after I eat or whatever I'm doing, right? When it starts doing it a little bit, right? It's usually after I eat that's something, right? See, again, I gotta forgive my own sins too, right? To be forgiven as God forgives me, right? And others' sins against me, right? And others who put a debt on me when I can't pay the debt, right? So that's the first thing you gotta do. I can't pay no debt, right? I ain't got no money, right? Whatever I got, you a lot to me, right? or give me as a gift, right? Or give me because I did some good works until I got to the Navy, maybe, right? But then I couldn't work because of the shipmates not training me specifically, right? Because I didn't know what to do on the ship. I didn't know what the equipment looked like. And they were just giving me a bunch of words to do the job, right? No pictures, right? Well, that's why. And does it sound like I'm making something up or telling you something that really happened? Right? I mean, I'm not making it up. Now, why am I here even, right? Because like you, I'm part of this lifespan, right? You can live from 0 to 120. We all can, right? Some might have lived older. The problem is Moses said all this, right? In his Torah. Then some talk of 70 or 80. And then some were dying shortly before 50. Right? Do you think that has to do with Jesus' death too? And of course, plagues were all over the place. And if you understand what Satan is doing, our sins is what he's using to destroy us, right? So if you're still sinning, right, you can still die, right? The difference is, right, Jesus was raised from the dead. No matter what they did to his body, even if they tried to burn it in Gehenna or something. Which I'm saying that because that could become a theory, right? As to where his body went. Maybe they just burned him in Gehenna, they might say, right? The little fired up outside of Jerusalem, right? See, everybody's looking for a way out, right? Even evil people, right? Except they don't want to confess their mistakes or make it part of their testimony like I do. They want to pretend they can just forget the past like it never happened. Well, another problem is you're going through what you're going through now for a reason, right? It's God still trying to save us, right? While Satan is trying to destroy us. Once sin enters into his heart and he wants to commit rebellion against God, right? Witchcraft is rebellion from God, right? Any form of rebellion, Christians, even in the image of God, right? Which is not male or female, right? So someone's not hearing the whole, but parts, right? And then you're cherry picking the Bible. You don't read Song of Solomon because it's not talking about Christ and the church. It's talking about Solomon and one of his girlfriends, right? Or concubines, even. We don't know who the girl is, right? But it's between her and Solomon, right? And sometimes she talks to the people around her, like the men on the patrol on watch, right? And who are supposed to guard the palace, right? While Solomon is away or something, right? Sounds like that too. Her beloved had left and went somewhere else and might even be with other women too, right? And she's longing for her male to return, right? And she's also part of his harem then, where there's 1,000 or 999 other women he has to take care of, right? Not just her, right? Now that's why it's both good and bad to be a king, because you might have to deal with more than one life sometimes, right? Even in Africa, even in, right, certain countries, China especially, right? They have more than one life, right? The kings and the emperors, right? Now, a king or an emperor, like I told you, a true one tries to teach you to master yourself, right? We're all kings and queens in the eyes of God. It's Satan who wants us all to be slaves unto what? Our death, right? And sees us differently than God does, right? Now, God, of course, knows we're not sinning willfully, right? We're mixed up in Satan's rebellion from it, and it knows that's what's affecting our behavior. So why is healing so far from us now? We've lost the way, right? We think we're in the way, but we're not. But we are not. And God and Satan know it, and Satan is condemning us while God is trying to save us, right? See, that creates doubt, right? Not even reasonable doubt, but doubt, right? Right? It's doubt, right? Without faith, it's impossible to please Him. That's why I'm still struggling with arthritic pain, but can walk still, in the ankle, and all that, right? God can completely heal it. I keep saying that too, but why hasn't it? Well, A, I'm not disabled without a problem, right? Right? I can't get on disability if I don't have an issue, right? Plus, I got the mental, but only I can tell you if I'm hearing the voices or not, right? You don't hear what I hear, right? Nor do I hear what you hear in your mind, right? Now, like yesterday, I took the teacher around, right? And she wanted me to change $100, like I had $100, but I didn't have $100, of course, in change. I only had like maybe 60 or 65, right? And that's part of the problem, right? I didn't know, I don't know, right? What's really going on, right? Now, when Jesus is healing, though, He Himself took our infirmities and bore our sicknesses, right? Now, a problem also comes in when people want to copyright the truth, right? See, even Pastor Prince wants to act like he's helping you to be healed, but when you copyright it, what does that mean for someone who wants to teach the exact same thing as Pastor Prince, right? Can they preach it from his book? Publicly? Or is that a sin? Or is that a crime, right? You know what I mean? Remember when I tried to read directly from Grant Jeffries' books, right? Why did I do that? Because we're Antichrist. We're all Antichrist, right? We don't know what we're supposed to understand about Jesus anymore because of Emperor Constantine and the Orthodox having a problem with the Gnostics. So both are found in the Bible, right? So they're both lying a little, right? They're confusing something, right? Now, I think some of the things the Gnostics are saying is from Satan's point of view, right? He's the wise tree, right? The serpent that brought us the knowledge of good and evil, right? And God's the dummy, right? Who didn't want us to know good and evil, right? You can't tell that, Christians. If you read the whole thing, right, that kind of sees what they're saying, sarcastically, right? But then they talk of Eve being raped, naturally and abominably or purely, right? Meaning a different kind of sex with Satan, right? Too, right? Not just straight sex, but butt sex, right? Why is butt sex a sin or not a sin, right? He condemned it, right? They didn't like it probably as much as straight sex, too, right? If he did it both with Adam and Eve, right? Or Eve and Adam as it actually unfolded, right? He seduced her first, right? But may have even been gentler with her in the butt, but it still might have made her feel uncomfortable, right? Being that it was her first butt experience. Now, right? She was a virgin that way. But Adam never had anything but food inside of him. Right. Now, who do you think it would shame more? Adam? Yes. Or Eve? Not Eve, right? If he went and introduced butt sex in Eden, right? The Garden of God. That would also make you think, I wasn't supposed to do that, was I? Yeah. If you never did it before. And you probably don't like it your first time either. You gotta get used to it, I heard, right? I don't know. I don't remember anything, right? But that don't mean they weren't trying, right? I don't know if they succeeded, right? That's the problem too, right? A few times, right? See, it's not about me, the gay sex either, right? But we can all be fucked, right? Oh, I did the wrong word. I'm sorry. You can all commit fornication in the butt. In other words, right? Since they don't like the word F-U-C-K, I guess it's too graphic. Or too descriptive of the sex and sin we do, right? But the problem is, marriage is the same thing, isn't it, right? Having sex, right? Some think butt or vaginal, right? And some even put the fruit in their mouth. Like he was talking about in Song of Solomon. The woman's comparing him to an apple tree, and his fruit was sweet to her mouth. Right. You don't want to hear what the Spirit is saying to what fruit she put in her mouth, right? Of the male of the moon. And it's tasty. And you don't want to see the metaphor, right? Works is fine, right? You understand fruits means your works, right? That's why the eunuch is not a dry tree, though, right? Even though he can't reproduce, right? That's referring to works being fruits, right? Because a eunuch can't reproduce. Nor can a barren woman, usually, unless she's with a certain blood type, maybe, right? O positive and O negative are probably the two best blood types to reproduce by, too, right? And all it takes is one of the sperm to reach the egg. I'm not cursing you, but you're cursed if you tried to murder me, right? As they did Jesus, not understanding his message either, right? See, if I went in just to get my nails done and it turned into sex and then you blacked me out and then, right, maybe 3 times, right? And there's only one place we can have sex in a crowded room, and that's in the bathroom for privacy, right? I wouldn't show you publicly, right? I know that too, right? Now, I don't recall even suggesting that to any of the waitresses, right? Or leaving the restroom, right? With them just sitting in the booth the whole time, right? Or eating the food, right? So it was also only you who thought something was going down about you, not me. You know what I mean? I keep telling you that too, right? Now, who again is messing with the TV? Last night it was the one in the living room, right? Because I didn't set the recorder, right? For anything. Now I have what's called pre-recordings, right? And I'll show you what that is. Like on NBC, it's called prime time, right? See? The PT and the little square there? Chicago Fire, Chicago Med, and Chicago PD are set to record. Now, on Fox, you got Fox News at 10, and then Lego Masters, and then The Masked Singer again, right? And then Stargirl and all that's on CW with World's Funniest reruns, right? They're kind of getting into reruns with that, but they'll probably do some new shows soon, right? Then the Connors, and the Goldbergs, and which is just us too, right? We dealt with the same things you dealt with, right? We all did. Abbott Elementary, right? Home Economics, and then Big Sky, which moved back to Wednesday, right? Or was it Tuesday when it first came on, right? And that was kind of freaky, I know. And then they've been talking about the U.S. and the Holocaust a lot on PBS, right? I know. And again, right? We're oppressors, right? of other human beings too. That's all Satan, right? But what can we do about it? Quit doing it, right? It's kind of simple as that. That's about it, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't really watch The Amazing Race or Survivor or any of that, really. I don't know. Now, I used to have 22 and CBS, but it was recording everything in prime time, even on the weekend. So I kind of left it to NBC and Fox, I know, for now, right? Now, if I want to watch something, say like The Conners, right, and The Masked Singer, I can record Conners, right? Because I like the characters, even with Roseanne, and I know Roseanne's human, right? I may have said some stuff as a comedian, but I know she didn't mean it. See, that's the point. We comedians, we might offend, but we're not trying to really offend. We're not trying to really offend, right? Now, I don't mind Abbott Elementary or Home Economics, but over Lego Masters or Chicago Fire, right, or Survivor, I might just watch it or something, or might even watch one of my martial arts videos. Well, I feel it's kind of a somewhat mockery of the school system in a way. I know. It's not intentional, I don't think, but it kind of seems standoffish at the same time as it's a comedy, right? If you know what I mean, right? About it, right? There's just some kind of weird vibe with it, that's all I mean, right? And it's not that it's black or white school teachers. I've dealt with that too, right? Right. I know. It's just the show seems kind of standoffish somewhat towards teachers, right? And it kind of portrays them as maybe dumb and stupid. They don't know what they're doing. And I don't quite like that, I guess. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Though it won some Emmys and all that, but still. And then Home Economics is about, again, this star that became real popular in his family and how the anyway. But it's with Topher Grace from That 70s Show. I don't know the rest of them, but but see, that's the whole point. That's all I have to do. I either watch videos, I watch martial arts videos, right, to learn how they move a little bit, right, in case I need to really defend myself or something, right. You don't look for trouble like any person, right? But you almost always have to be prepared for it, right? Right? Not because you want bad things to happen to yourself or others, usually, right? Those people are decent, right? But we're not good when it comes to defending other people, right? Who are in what's called like the minority or the hated of the world, right? Which could happen to the Christians eventually, right? See, they're trying to figure out a way to do away with us, right? Right? And they might resort to violence before we would, right? Right? We're told to turn the other cheek, and they don't, right? See, when you're dealing with people who don't turn the other cheek, and you're taught to turn the other cheek, they'll still might slap you, or hit you, right? Or beat you, right? Though Christ was beaten too and raised from the dead, right? But they're going to really test it over the last 1,000 years. That's my theory, right? But you don't see time as God does. You only see 24 hours as a day when the Bible says it can be a year or even 1,000 years. That's still over 1,000 years, right? That's 365 and a quarter days, right? For a solar concept, 360 a prophetic concept, which that's how long the sun actually rotates itself. It's a ball, right? It too rotates because the whole universe is rotating, right? They think Andromeda is going to become part of the Milky Way galaxy because they seem to be rotating into each other, right? Could that become a problem in the future, right? Yes and no. Unless, like I said, you reset it back to the beginning and then forever going through something, right? Here's the problem, means forever going through something, right? If we're forever kings or we're forever here, right? And replenish means refill, right? But you filled it the first time, right? If I have to replenish something was first made, right? From nothing at all, right? There is a beginning, right? And an end, right? But if I keep replenishing something, right? It keeps fizzling out, right? Or going back to destruction, right? Or non-existence even, right? Everything on the planet, right? And the timetable could be 16,000 years, right? Which forever is longer than that, right? Exactly. But the thing about forever is it's about a long time, right? Like Prince said, right? The afterlife, right? You know the one. When you call up your street in Beverly Hills, you know the one. You know the one. Let's go crazy. We're already crazy. We're already crazy, right? We think we're sane. We're not, right? We think we're doing right. We're not, right? But those who want to do wrong can what? Do wrong. Those who want to do right can what? Do right. And they all have a greater good. I'm sure the society will still have rules, right? I know. It's not just about sleeping with whoever you want, because that's the way to control the population, right? Two, and see, if the population is part of the problem, they're not going to want people to really have sex, right? But they might give you an alternative form, right? Even robots, I heard, right? They want to make a sex bot. Well, you can't get a sex bot pregnant. It's just something that seems humanoid, right? And of course, it's got to simulate a woman, right? If you make one into a sex bot. But you can do that, probably. I don't know, right? See, the part that's synthetic human, right? In other words, it's not really human, but it's human light, right? Would be the vagina for the males, right? Or the butt, right? For the males. And see, the robot can't really feel it, right? Though it might have, they might can give it pleasure sensors or something. I don't know, right? But if the population's getting too big for the planet, they gotta eliminate some people, right? Like someone was telling me, he's a murderer and he's always been a murderer, right? And he don't mind killing people, right? To get rid of them, right? But one person he might not kill is me if they're messing with my TV again now, right? Twice it's been changed, right? I didn't do nothing the day of, right? And I know I didn't, so I know you're messing with the TV again, but I just still don't know if someone's coming here, if someone didn't, right? Obviously, you know, the remote worked, period, right? Inside or outside the house, right? I didn't establish that, right? So again, right? Someone could just be messing with me again and recorded the show I didn't care about, really, really. This year, I didn't do nothing with that, right? And I know I didn't, right? And no matter what you say I didn't, right? You changed, did it yourself, right? Not Shane. That's all I'm saying. Someone messed with the TV, right? When I was out, of course. And when I got home, it was recording a show I didn't set to record, right? That's all that happened, too. I know, right? I don't know why they did, right? I don't know what they hope to gain out of it. It don't prove I'm crazy if I know I didn't record a show or not, right? Or forgot I did. Again, that's the only other way, and they black me out, but I'm out during the day, right? And I wasn't even thinking about FBI being on tonight, right? I was more having to do things for my mom and dad. The teacher needed a ride, and right, that takes time, right? Though I came home, laid down, watched TV again, right, and again, right, picked the parents up, and then right, we ate because lunch don't start till 1, right? 11, right? So I got there a little bit before 11 so we could get right to the restaurant shortly around 11, right? And then Mom asked, when I looked at my watch, are you trying to get somewhere? And I said, yeah, to the restaurant around 11, right? Right. And, they don't open till 11, right? Right. Especially if they serve lunch and dinner more than breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and that's mainly the fast food joints, right? So see, join the mighty chorus, the mighty chorus. And we got people of different ages. Though do I seem to be aging, right? Even, right? My closed right eye in, right? But like I said, right? What channel do you know I was on if I was watching FBI last night, 11? Why is it on TCT? Mm-hmm. I didn't do that, right? Not that I have a problem and don't watch either channel sometimes on my own, right? So that's still a channel I watch, but not one I was on last night, right? Before I went to sleep, right? And the remote's between the books, so it's not like I can roll over on it specifically, right? So all I know is by morning, someone changed the channel, and I don't know who did it either, right? And somehow it was changed, right? Now, does this seem I'm irrational about it or trying to explain it to you rationally, right? See, you can say, oh, he's the one irrational, like the shipmates may have done, right? Because why do they see I went schizophrenic? Because I heard a few voices say Jerusalem, right? Or I thought Sheena was my wife, right? Or I insisted on writing her after she asked me not to, right? Which is that weird if you love someone or trying to fall in love with someone, right? No. Even writing her only, right, but not going after her physically isn't a crime, right? Unless there's someone on the same ship as you, right? See what I mean? Right? That's sexual harassment in the workplace, right? By the way. Not writing someone on a completely different ship who's just in the Navy with you, right? That's not harassment, right? You're on 2 different ships, right? You don't see each other every day, right? See, it's sexual harassment what Ben and King were doing, right? Because I got to see them every day and they weren't treating me, right? Every day. They weren't showing me shit, right? I didn't know what to do the whole time, right? I'm just trying to act like I'm doing what I know I can do by the work hard, right? That's it. That's all I can do. I don't even know what I'm supposed to be working on. I've never seen them before, right? I'm looking for it in the area, right? I go to the area, right, I'm supposed to be working in, and I make sure there's nothing wrong, right? I don't see any frayed wires or anything. That's all I can do. That's all you can do. You never worked on it before, right? Does that make sense, though, right? A little bit too much, a little bit too much, right? And see, some people even lull you into a false sense of security, right? The problem is they think it all has to be fulfilled, and what's all? What's all? Do you even know what all means to God, right? Or you. Do you even know what day you're on, right? Or the hour of that day, right? If the day says 1,000 years, that's 20 years for an hour. Or is it 40? Right? Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. 20 years is a half an hour. And 40 is an hour. Did you know that? All you do is divide 24 into 1,000. Right. What would you get? Around 40. Ain't that funny? Ain't that funny? They were an hour in the desert. Because they wouldn't do what God wanted them to do, right? You're not either, right? Thinking, right, and doing, right, are vanity, right? All is vanity, right? You're vainly following your male image as the image of God, right? You think Jesus was male, right? When John describes him with paps, right? This is King James, 1,600 years, right? After Christ, right? In 1611, he wrote his little Bible, right? And they interpreted it as paps, right? See, they also don't have a word for a woman's breast in English, right? Now, slang words like tits, boobs, right? We all have all that today, right? And it's kind of funny, but yeah. And some men, they'd say, have men boobs and all that, right? No, they're not quite the same. One doesn't produce milk, one does. And hermaphrodites can produce milk, right? But also have a penis, right? But no testicles, because the testicles are inside, like when you're a child, right? Before you hit puberty, your testicles have to descend, right? At puberty into your scrotum, right? They're generally in your stomach, right? Well, the only difference with a hermaphrodite is they have a vagina under the penis, right? Ovaries and fallopian tube, and some of them have wombs where they can have a child, right? But the thing is, once you have the child, you're one with Satan, right? And it hurts. It hurts. Why does it hurt? Does it hurt Satan? Because it hurt Satan to have the daughter he had with Eve. Where do you think Eve's got the lyric, I've been looking for the daughter of the devil himself? Who did Cain marry? The daughter of the devil and Adam, right? Herself. And she's a little bit of an angel in white. Ain't she when she chooses to be? She can be hell. Satan himself. Or an angel in white to you, but never. Treat her right. Like Pat Benatar said. Open your eyes, maybe you'll see the light. Oh, treat her right. Something like that. But I'm part of it, right? Whatever happens, too. Maybe we'll go millions of years without a problem. I don't know, right? See. But it's also not taken into account that the sinner is sinning through the rebellion of Satan, and at the same time, without that rebellion, you wouldn't sin, right? See, God knows that, right? But then you're choosing to be like Satan too and denying that choice, right? That's the problem too. But you're not also necessarily sinning as long as Satan, right? Unless God can even get Satan to repent, right? You think he can do it? Right? By letting his condemnation condemning him, right? He's going to be the first to be punished if he's still sinning, right? Until he repents, right? Who's going to be the first to be cast into the lake of fire? Satan. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm wrong. All right. It's the false prophet and the beast. Right, John? Right, John. And then, right, at the last 2,000 years, maybe the 2 days, right, after millennial reign, right, 3,000 total, right, then, this is all scripture too, right? You just don't want to hear the length of the day, right? It's 1,000 years, it's 1,000 years, right? But you don't want you to hear that, Satan. Who denies the Bible, Satan. Who lies about the Bible, Satan, right? Who uses the Bible even on Christ and lies about the Bible, Satan. So if he can do that, we can too, right? That's why he says to some of you, I don't know you yet, right? You don't know me yet, right? And Christ would say, yet. Satan don't want you to know him at all, right? But truth adds to truth. A lie confuses you from the truth and makes you think you're following it when you're not in it yet, right? But it seems good. It seems right, right? But it's a lie. I don't know. And it's hard to tell the lie. If the old says God is not a man, right, and don't make graven images, male or female, as God's image, and everybody's doing that, right, by the way, right? It's telling you I'm not a man or a woman, at least, right? Inform. And yet there are hermaphrodites, right? Legally born hermaphrodites. That's a medical thing, right? You got to be double X and XY to be one, right? You have 92 chromosomes, not 46, right? And they found some kind of blood on the shroud where someone's missing 22 chromosomes, right? That's still neither male nor female, by the way, right? As we are. You're missing 22 chromosomes that someone else has, right? So that's weird too. That could be part of the sin too, right? Whoever blood it is, right? Whether it's Jesus, someone else, someone working on the shroud or whatever, we don't know. We don't know what it was. See, the way that Jesus buried was more mummy style. Who was brought back in a sarcophagus, right, to Israel? Joseph, to be buried there. But how was he embalmed, right? Mummy style, right? That means there's, wherever Joseph was buried, there's a sarcophagus there, right? You ain't found that yet, have you? That right? But where would it be? Where was Sarah buried, right? That's where it would be, right? Yes, right. Have you found Joseph's sarcophagus yet? Right? That might prove something that might not. That's the problem, right? But if you're supposed to be 100% and you are 60 or 30, right? You might think, right? You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, right? Right. But that means you're 40% wrong. What are you supposed to be, though, for Christ? Hot or cold, right? Your temperature is what? 98.7 degrees? I'm 97.2. How about that? I'm a degree lower. But I'm considered warm to my girlfriends or friends, right? That are girls, right? And like I told you, right? I don't know that, right? I don't go after children, right? But if you're with my sister because you heard about me, that's fucked up, right? You don't date her to get to me, right? hmm That's why you're not my friend, right? You're my sister's ex. And no guy, brother, likes an ex who did his sister wrong, right? But I forgive you, right? Forgiving you ain't about you, but Jesus, right? Nor Renee even. She might still be mad with you. And I understand her anger, and I forgive her anger, you understand, right? She should be mad with you, right? But you're not my friend if you're not her hers anymore, right? Either, right? And then you show up, I see you with some other woman, right? I don't even recognize her, right? That's messed up, dude, right? Is the only way Belly can get here is by driving your truck or Renee's car, right? To my home, right? Knock on the door, wake me up, come in, and I'll say, "What you doing here?" Right? Try to figure it out, right? And talk to her what's going on, right? Because she's not supposed to be here. I know that, right? Don't that sound eccentric though, right? Crazy, right? And I don't know she did, right? Why? Did she insist on something, right? And I tried to talk to her about it and be nice and sweet Shane, right? I don't know. See, that's what would have to happen, right? She would have to come here from Springfield, drive the truck or car, because I'm home alone, right? And maybe she felt sorry for me on the home alone. Maybe you're telling her not to fuck me and made her want to fuck me. I don't know, right? But I didn't tell her that, right? I would defend her sometimes because I felt like sometimes y'all bully a little bit. Right? I don't like bullying, right? Even if she's a little bully. Because she's being bullied, right? But see, I feel more y'all doing her wrong, right? And I don't know why. I don't know why. And that's all I know about it too, right? I don't. Only when I'm around her during the day do I remember even being around her, right? And that's in the company of people, right? And I don't try to get along with her, right? I told you that too, right? Now, why would she want to get along with me, right? Because when I'm not around her, you're telling her I don't like her that way, or she's thinking I do, or right? And she wants to prove it. Well, that's her. That's her. See, she's old enough to know better, right? And I'm not encouraging her. I'm just being a in-law, right? Who's around everyone, right? Even Blake knows nothing happened with us, right? While he's there, or while I'm around family and friends, right? I don't try to even get along with her, right? And I don't force it either, right? But if she thinks I like her and I'm her first crush and you're not listening, right, to her, right? She can do crazy stuff, right? And again, why? She's not something I'm interested in, right? As far as what, right? I know her age, right? If she was older, right, I could be with her legally, right? And that's all I would tell her, too. I can be with you when you're older, but just not now. I get in trouble. It's not that I don't like you, right? As, that you're a female and I could be with you when you're older, just not now because I would get in trouble by your dad or my sister or the whole family, right? And that's all I can tell her too, right? It's not personal. But we can have sex. I won't lie to her about that either, but she would have to be where? Here at my home, right? And won't me, right? And won't take no for an answer herself, right? And I'm not trying to be rude. I'm trying to be nice about it, right? If I am saying all that, right? But I can't lie to her and say I don't have any feelings for you, right? If I did, right? A little, but you're too young, and I feel your dad and my sister kind of know the situation would develop, right? And it's up to you if you got to the home, my house, right? I don't know what to do, right? I would get in trouble though if you ever said anything. That's what I would tell her, right? And you can't tell on me, right? You can't act like we did, even if you get pregnant somehow, right? Because you might could get pregnant, right? Things like that. You're old enough now, right? You're at that age, right? And I would tell her all that, right? But sometimes they don't care. You ever see them on Dr. Phil or Maury, right? Those teenage girls, right? When they get the love bug, right? And they don't care. They don't care. They don't care. And I would never hurt her, which is what I'm telling you. I would let her be on top then, right? If she insists, right? Not saying I don't love her, right? Because I could love her, right? She's just too young legally, right? And that's all I could tell her too. And it's nothing personal. It's because everyone would freak out and we would both get in trouble. Me more than you because I'm the older person. And I can't tell her no more or no less either, right? Right? Or there. If she got from Springfield on her own and drove to my home, right? And I don't even know if she's been to my home, right? Or even knows where I live, right? So I got an address, you can Google it, right? You can put it on Google's Maps, right? And they can do turn by turn, right? And I still ain't seen her though, right? Outside, right? Of day, right? When the last time I saw her was when, right? Shortly after her dad broke up with my sister, right? And they moved away to somewhere else, right? That's all I know about it too, right? You know, I don't act weird, right? I don't act, right? Like I wouldn't like her still, right? But I still have the problem, right? Of dad, sister, mom, family, Blake, right? Two. But she knows, right? But I also tell her, you gotta behave, right? We both gotta behave when we're alone, right? If she were to come to the house, right? See, they would still know, but I don't know, right? Possibly both. Or he knew and tried to deal with it himself, right? If she did. But I don't know, right? And of course, he would come here and catch her here, right? And again, he can't murder me because we're both confused, even though we got an age difference, right? Nope. Why? I don't know. I am not trying to seduce her, right? I might could have fallen in love with her, right? But I know there's an age gap, right? So does she understand that, right? And that's the whole point, right? As long as she behaves, I behave. Even if she sat across from us in the restaurant yesterday. But you ain't seen me since I was a child, no? And you might have changed, right? And that was still a while back, right? Several years ago, right? And only she knows if we were actually together, she got pregnant, if this, that, or the other happened or not, right? Or he knows, right? Or they know, but I don't know, right? Still. Even Desiree getting pregnant, right? I ain't heard nothing new about that, right? But I should by now, right? And it can happen to her too, right? But I never went after her either, right? I don't know nothing about her either, right? Or Renee, or Mom, or anything, right? I don't try to seduce you, right? I just try to treat you all like ladies, right? And men like brothers or gentlemen, right? Even if you're not. Even if you're not. But what would she still think? I still remember her first name, Billy, but that's because of the dog movie, but that's bad. Okay, who knows? Bye-bye.